The phone vibrated softly on the coffee table, its bright screen cutting through the dim glow of our living room. My wife Lisa and I had been married for 6 years. Our life in Austin revolved around our daughter Emma and the quiet routine we had built together: school runs, weekend parks, and a home that once felt secure. But recently, something had changed. Lisa had started coming home later from her graphic design job. Her phone was always face down, and she guarded it like it held secrets she didn't want me to see. Then, the message appeared. At my ex's house. Don't be jealous. The words hit harder than I expected. Her ex-boyfriend Brian had recently moved back to town, and even seeing his name again had made me uneasy. But the way she wrote that message felt intentional, like she wanted to provoke a reaction. My chest tightened as I typed my response. I'm not jealous. I'm done. Expect divorce papers. Her phone call came instantly, but I didn't answer. For weeks I had felt that something wasn't right. Her late meetings always happened to fall on the same nights Brian was free. A few days earlier, I had glimpsed a message from him on her phone that read, "Missed you last night." When I asked about it, she laughed it off, calling it harmless nostalgia. But curiosity pushed me further. Since we shared a cloud account for family photos, I decided to look through it. That's when I found the pictures. Lisa and Brian sitting together at a bar. The timestamp showed it had been taken just the week before. Her text wasn't just careless, it was a test. She expected jealousy, anger, maybe begging. Instead, my calm response shifted the entire balance. I called my sister and asked her to watch Emma for the evening. I didn't want our daughter anywhere near the storm that was about to happen. Then I contacted a lawyer. Within an hour, the first draft of divorce paperwork was already in motion. Lisa came rushing through the front door shortly after. Her face was pale and tears were already forming in her eyes. "It's not what you think," she said quickly. I didn't raise my voice. Instead, I held up my phone and showed her the photos from the bar. "You're at Brian's house telling me not to be jealous," I said calmly. "You crossed the line." The strength seemed to leave her legs. She sank onto the couch, crying as the realization hit her that I wasn't bluffing. The messages she thought were hidden weren't hidden at all. She tried to explain. She said Brian was just an old friend. She claimed they were only catching up. But the shared cloud account revealed more than photos. There were emails, plans to meet, messages joking about my predictable routines and how boring I had become. "You thought I'd stay quiet," I said as I slid the divorce papers across the table. "Sign these, or Brian's wife learns everything." Lisa's tears came faster. What she didn't know was that I had already sent an anonymous summary of the situation to Brian's wife earlier that evening, and that message had already started its own explosion. Lisa begged me to reconsider. She promised therapy. She promised she would cut Brian out of her life forever. But trust once broken doesn't repair itself with promises. Her taunting text had destroyed whatever remained of it. For Emma's sake, I moved her temporarily to my sister's house where things could stay calm and stable. Meanwhile, word about Lisa and Brian began spreading quietly through our social circle. Some friends were shocked. Others admitted they had seen the two of them acting far too close at recent gatherings. Her attempt to brush off the situation with "don't be jealous" backfired completely. The truth began unraveling everything. Brian's wife confronted him after receiving the anonymous message. Their marriage collapsed almost immediately. Lisa's reputation began falling apart just as quickly. Her design firm didn't want the distraction of scandal attached to their projects, so she was quietly pushed to the sidelines once clients began hearing the rumors. She tried posting vague messages on social media about mistakes and personal growth. But the comments weren't sympathetic. People had already made their judgments. My response wasn't revenge. It was simply refusing to ignore the truth. I didn't need to attack her publicly. Her own actions were doing that for me. I moved into a small apartment and focused on Emma, helping with her homework, listening to her laugh, rebuilding a routine that didn't revolve around betrayal. Lisa's calls slowly became less frequent. Her world seemed to shrink as therapy sessions piled up and her career began losing momentum. I never released the evidence publicly. Sending the information to Brian's wife had already triggered enough consequences. That single text message, the one meant to provoke me, became the moment everything changed. Emma keeps me grounded. Her laughter reminds me why I chose to move forward instead of fighting to save something already broken. Months later, I'm still healing. Stronger for Emma, stronger for myself. Lisa's decision to go to Brian's house and send that message were choices she made on her own, and my response made sure those choices came with consequences. Her breakdown that night wasn't something she expected, but it was the moment reality finally caught up with her actions. Now I'm writing a future where trust actually matters, while Lisa is left facing the aftermath of the decisions that destroyed our marriage. That one message, "Don't be jealous," became the mistake she can never erase, and my reply ensured it was the moment everything finally ended.